Good morning, gentlemen of grade 9. Let's go on with our lessons. Let's discuss Act 2, Scene 2. But before we go on, I have a question based on Act 2, Scene 1. The question is simply, what does Romeo compare Juliet and himself to? At the end of the first scene, Act 2, we mentioned that he compares himself and Juliet to something. I'll show you the text back and try to figure it out with me. Here you read the part. Yes. So he says, can I go forward when my heart is here? Turn back, dull earth, and find thy center out. So, can you remember? Yes. I think that we discussed that Romeo compared himself and his body to earth, and Juliet is the heart or the center of this earth. To go on with Act 2, Scene 2, still the place is at the Capulet's orchard. And here we find that Romeo is inside the garden or the orchard of the Capulets, maybe with intention to see Juliet. Yes, okay. Let's follow these lines here. Okay. He says, it is my lady. Oh, it is my love. So, he's talking about here. She's a lady for him. Okay, and then he says, she speaks, yet she says nothing. What of that? He would like to hear her voice. Her eye discourses. Yes, he can read words from her eye. I will answer it. I am too bold. 'Tis not to me she speaks. Is she speaking to me, or does she send other messages? In these two lines, we can find that Romeo shifts back and forth between wanting to speak to Juliet and being afraid. He's afraid to talk to her. Two of the first stars in all the heaven, having some business, do entreat her eyes to twinkle in their spheres till they return. Now here again, Shakespeare uses figurative language. In this part, he compares Juliet's eyes to the stars that twinkle in the star. Okay? He compares her eyes to the star that are in the sky. He comes closer to her place and it looks like he listened to her. Juliet, Amy. She's sighing, she's groaning, she's expressing, could be a kind of soliloquy too. She's talking to herself. Romeo, she speaks. Oh, speak again, bright angel, for thou art as glorious to this night, being my head. Now he listens here, he stands down there beneath her window or somewhat and listens to her speech, talking to him or talking to herself, kind of soliloquy. What do you expect Juliet will be talking about? Yes, her struggle. Now, what struggle is she talking about? The struggle that she's in love with a man that belongs to her enemy. She's not happy about this. Okay. Again, in line 33, and sails upon the bosom of the air. He's talking about her words and her voices that float in the air. They mix everything around them like heaven. He said here, as winged messenger of heaven. He describes here even to a messenger from the sky. He describes here to an angel from the sky. We mentioned before that Shakespeare uses hyperbole. Hyperbole is a kind of exaggeration. A kind of exaggeration when you give the character characteristics or attributes that do not belong to her. Oh, Romeo, Romeo, what fault art thou, Romeo, Deny, now she's talking to herself, deny thy father and refuse thy name. Or if thou wilt not, but sown my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet. Here is the problem. Here is the struggle she is suffering. Here is the very big problem that is between them. What is that? Both of them belongs to an enemy. They are belonging to enemies. Their families are enemies. And this is her problem now. Romeo, Romeo, she says to him, refuse your name. Why don't you change your name? Why don't you deny your belonging to your father? Deny thy father and refuse thy name. Or if thou wilt not, and if you do not this, be but soon my love, and I will no longer be a Capulet. Don't worry, I will refuse my family too. I will stop being a Capulet in order to keep my relation with you. Okay. So in line 33 here again, O Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? What makes you? Why are you Romeo? Why are you a Capulet? Now, this can tell us about the dispute, the conflict inside the girl. She is not happy about this. So what will the response of Romeo? Again aside, shall I hear more? Or shall I speak at this? Now, Juliet was talking to herself, and now he is on the stage hearing her, but he said, shall I hear more? Or shall I speak at this? Now she's talking to herself. Shall I intrude? Shall I have a discourse with her? And then she goes in, tis but my name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, though not a Montague. What a Montague? It's not, it is nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. It's just a name. She's asking, oh, it's just a name. It's not a face or arm or head, just a name. So simply we can go without, we can skip it. This is not the problem. Again, so Romeo would, were he not Romeo cold, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that little. Romeo, doff thy name, and for that name which is no part of thee, take all myself. Forget your name, and I will be your love. Forget me. Doff means here, means get rid, stop having your name. Then he speaks to her, I take thee at thy word. Okay, it's a promise. Call me but love, and I'll be now baptized. Henceforth, I never will be Romeo. Baptized, it's some kind of Christianity. When the baby is born, they give him a kind of rituals and give him a name like this. So he says, I'll take your word. If you're mine, took all myself. She said, took all myself. If you're mine, I will stop being a Capulet. And I will be new baptized. I'll consider myself a newborn and have a new name again. Henceforth, I never will be Romeo. Then she realized that someone is down there by her balcony. What man art thou that thus be screened in night, so stumblest on my counsel? Why are you here? Juliet is startled that someone hiding near her place. Romeo, by name, I know not how to tell thee who I am. I cannot tell you my name because now you don't want to know my name. You stopped having my name. You are not happy with my name. Okay, by name, I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, dear saint. He considered it again a saint. Hyperbole. Is hateful to myself. I don't like my name. My name is hateful to myself. And you don't want me to call myself Romeo. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself because it's my enemy to thee. It's an enemy to thee. My name is enemy to you. Had I it written, I would tear the word. If I see my name written on a place, I would cut it. I would tear the word. I will rip it. My ears have yet no drunk 100 words of that tongue's utterance, yet I know the sound. Yes, I haven't heard a lot from you, Romeo, I can identify the sound. Art thou not Romeo? And the Montague? Alasta Romeo, sorry, sorry. Aren't you Romeo? And the Montague? Neither fear sin, if either thieves like. No, I'm not. I'm not Romeo, and either a Montague, if you're not happy with these two names. And then she warns him that some of her relatives could be here and where and kind of, if any of my kinsmen find thee here, you are in trouble. You will be in trouble. He said, with love's light wings did I approach. Did I overpreach these walls? For stony limits cannot hold a love out. So even for your love, I can climb high. Walls. Let's go to consider some questions about this part and go back. In Act 2, Scene 2, lines 1 to 25, what provokes Romeo to speak aloud? He thinks he sees Juliet in the window and cannot restrain his emotions. He cannot stop. Question 2. To what does he compare Juliet in this speech? I mentioned to you that he's using hyperbole, exaggeration. He compares her to the sun and her eyes to the brightest stars in the heavens. What does this soliloquy reveal about his thoughts? It shows that he is enraptured. He's enraptured by Juliet's beauty, that he realizes her, that he is uncertain about how to communicate with her, and that he wants to touch her. Again, in the other part, what does Juliet say that shows her strength of her feeling to Romeo? She said that if he would swear to love her, she would forsake her name. She would forgive her name. How is Juliet naturally startled to think someone is in the garden? It could be one of her relatives. Startled means perplexed, confused, because she spoke about love, and the one in the garden could be one of her relatives. It could be one of her relatives who has overheard her. And what might she also be fearful, given what she just said? In this case, Romeo could be in danger if someone heard about her name, even if it was not Romeo himself. How have Juliet's priorities changed in Act 1? In Act 1, pleasing her family was her priority. She wanted to make her father and mother happy. But in this, she saw that she's willing to lay family loyalty aside in order to be in love with Romeo. Again, Romeo goes further and says she's saint. How does Romeo address Juliet? Why? He calls her dear saint. Saint is a holy man in religion, because that is what he called her at the party. She cannot see him yet, so he is giving her a clue to his identity. What warning does Juliet give to Romeo? She warns Romeo that if her family finds him on the grounds, he could be killed. Also, what is the impact of this reminder on the audience? We are as audience. This reminds the audience of the conflict between the two families that places the relationship between Romeo and Juliet in jeopardy. My friends, we stop at this part. I'd like to remind you to complete your e-homework. Thank you and goodbye.